Hello YouTube, and welcome back to my channel. It's been a while. I don't think I've posted anything in probably at least 2 weeks. And actually, you know, I actually haven't rode in about 2 weeks as well. Just had some things going on and just been busy, and this is actually the first ride that I've been able to have on the bike in that time. I figured, you know, since I was going to go out this afternoon, that I'd take an opportunity to do a little bit of moto vlogging. Just wanted to kind of go out on some back roads for a little bit, because I don't really have any particular topic I want to talk about. Just trying to get myself out of the house a little bit and kind of get out and enjoy it. Okay, this is a nice little town. There's a lot of college towns around here. North River. Oh man, it's nothing like being out on the open road, just getting away from all the traffic, all the hustling. One nice thing about just when you just get out and you get away from it all. So I want to kind of do some you know, longer distance rides. You know, I've been had some ideas of some places that I want to ride to and all, but just with the way my schedule is and everything, it's hard to fit some of those things in sometimes. Construction equipment up there. Well, they must be building something over there. Huh. Storms earlier really did cool it off out here. I think when I left the house it was 75. A lot better than 90 or 95, which has pretty much been most of this week. It's been 95. You know, one thing I've noticed here lately is I've been seeing a lot of Sturgis videos out there. Man, that would be so cool to go to. I actually mapped out the trip to Sturgis for me, and it looks like it would be around 1,700 miles, give or take. You know, so mean, 1,700 miles on the Scout 60. I do know there's a gentleman, I watch his channel, Christopher David Lawson. He actually did it from Pennsylvania to Sturgis, and I'm sure that was probably above a 13 or 1,400 mile trip. So, you know, he did it. It gives me a lot of confidence that the Scout can do it. Definitely. Would I ever try it? I'm not saying that I would never try it, but I definitely would have to build myself up some confidence and do a little more long distance riding, you know, before I would tackle that feat. Which I've said earlier, you know, in some of my videos, that I wanted to do that. Is I wanted to try to plan a, you know, a 500 mile trip. I wanted to try to plan, like, you know, maybe a 1,000 mile trip, maybe do the Iron Butt Challenge, you know, and just kind of work myself up to it, and not try to tackle some really long trip like that in one setting. I do want to try to do a trip out of state. You know, there's a lot of mileage to cover in the state of Virginia, where I'm from. I could easily do a 1,000 mile trip in the state of Virginia. You know, and I'm sure there's a lot of other states out there that you're like, hey, I could just ride around the whole state, and you could easily clock the miles up with that. But you know, there's a lot of areas to explore and to see, other than just being in your home state. So, you know, I get the opportunities, I'd like to try to do that. There's some things I want to get for the bike. Eventually, I want to, you know, do some additional luggage upgrades and everything like that. You obviously want to have that kind of stuff, and you know, you want to kind of make sure you have enough stuff for anything overnight and all too. So, but yeah, definitely an out-of-state trip would be something that I would really like to consider. Some of the trips, you know, very few of the trips that I have made and all, is that, you know, do you find it safer, you know, as a motorcyclist, or in a point of safety, do you find it safer when you're traveling to take secondary roads or primary highways? I guess it really depends on, like, where you're going and how quick you want to get there. One of the things that does concern me, though, you know, about secondary roads, like which I'm on now, is potential animals crossing out in front of you. And you know, being on a single lane highway obviously is, you know, you got oncoming traffic coming towards you too, so you have to be a lot more situational aware of that. At least on the highway, you know, you kind of got a flow of traffic going. You know, you kind of got a cushion a little bit there. Obviously the wind is, you know, is a factor, you know, as well, especially if, like me, I'm riding with no windshield, and I have had this bike on the highways before, and I tell you, you know, no windshield, it beats you to death, like literally. So, you know, you got to take that into mind. You know, you got to make sure that your bike's properly equipped, you know, and you're properly equipped to handle that type of riding and stuff. But, you know, the interstate and highway systems are probably the quickest and most efficient way to get where you're going. But sometimes it's nice just to get off those kind of roads and get on these back roads and just enjoy just enjoy getting to the destination is the biggest thing. And, you know, that's what I do enjoy so much about riding my motorcycle, is that you know, getting to that destination. And sometimes you just sometimes you don't have a destination. Sometimes you're just out there just wanting to ride just for the hell of it, you know. sometimes it's just good to just get out and just clear your head and, you know, just not have to worry about anything. Just focus on your ride. So yeah, you know, if I did those long distance trips, you know, I probably would use a combination of highways and secondary roads and, you know, routes and everything like that. You know, one thing I always, you know, you always get intimidated when you're on a trip like that is, you know, at least for me in a car, is just, you know, knowing where you're going.
The machine knows! Stop yelling at me! No, it's stop yelling! There's no road here!
I mean, obviously, you know, we have a lot of technology today. We have, you know, GPS and all that stuff and everything. But, you know, back then when we didn't have GPS, I mean, what did people do? You know, they get on their motorcycle and then they just like, they just ride, you know? You just go. You know, you're not looking at a Garmin, you're not looking at you know, your phone's GPS and saying I got to drive like 10 miles here and all that. You just got on it and you just rode. You know, you rode until you're there, you know. You take a dart and you throw it at a map and you're like, that's where I'm going. And you just ride till you get there. So I think that's one of the lost adventures of riding a bike today. It's just that it's just removing that technology and just removing that dependency. I'm not saying if I go somewhere, I do use my phone's GPS. I do that kind of stuff, you know. I do that, and you know, but if you really get out there and just go somewhere and just be like, look, I ain't gonna look at my phone's GPS, so I'll just go wherever I end up. And you know, that makes it just, you know, that makes it a real adventure then, because you're just like, you're not looking at, you know, a piece of technology or something that people just get dependent on and everything. I mean, don't get me wrong, you know, you obviously want to be near gas stations or things like that, but I mean, it's just what people did back then. They get to like and subscribe, and I'll talk to everyone later. Bye.